ready to get things started? CPAC, how y'all doing? I can't hear you.
Our economy is imploding. Food prices are soaring. Gas prices at record levels. You are a radical, murdering, supporting fascist. You're one sick, miserable, evil SOB. Well, thank you for coming on anyway.
There we go, gentlemen.
You have a president struggling with even speaking basic, simple tasks, putting sentences together.
Does that make any sense to anybody, or is it just me?
The idea that with the nature not
With respect to Sean Hannity, I didn't know that he had invited me for a beer. His opinion of me does not seem to be very high.
We still have Americans behind enemy lines. By the way, we're in the Oval Office. This is the Oval Office.
I'll put Mr. Burgess up against Sean Hannity. He'll tear him up.
The governor of the no-income tax state of Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor, good to see you.
Thank you.
You're very angry and defensive. I'm just trying to ask a question here. Barack Obama goes to Barack Obama goes to your church. This administration is nothing but a dumpster fire.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sean Hannity.
Hello, Texas. How y'all doing? You doing all right? Last year, I missed CPAC, and I missed it a lot. You know what I love about CPAC? I love all the young people that come here because they're the future of this great country. And our job is to hand off to you a better country than we received, and we are confident that you will do the same to the next generation. Right? You know, did you like the intro, the part where I had Joe Biden? Isn't it kind of hard to imagine 18 months ago we didn't have this decrepit, this weak, this frail, this senile, cognitive mess as a president of the United States? Can you believe, well, that's 18 months ago. How did that happen? We got to get our country back. Now, I'm going to have one overriding theme in all of this. I know we've been through primaries. I know a lot of you very passionately support one candidate over another candidate. But first of all, can we please get the people of Arizona to get their atom ship together? Can they count the votes? They haven't counted votes in 48 hours. We still don't know if Kari Lake won that race for governor. Why not? How do we expect to have integrity in our elections if they can't count the votes in 24 hours? Right? These are things that we should be able to fix and fix easily. I actually brought some things. You have to guess who said these things. I love this place. What's not to love about Vermont? Who said that? Joe Biden. Where did he say it? New Hampshire. You can't make this up. Poor kids, just as bright and talented as white kids. Who said that? Pretty amazing, isn't it? By the way, my favorite Joe Biden moment might be this. He finishes, doesn't know where to go as usual. And he hasn't done that just once, he's done that twice. I mean, you got to work hard at shaking air. I don't, you know, who's there? I got a few more Bidens, then we'll get into some serious stuff. So a man asks about Hunter, and then Joe Biden challenges the guy to a push-up contest. Now, let me get this straight. The guy that fell not once, not twice, but 3 times climbing up the stairs to Air Force One wants to have a push-up contest with anybody? Man, when my daughter was 4, she could win that. And then I don't know what's worse, the fact that our president can't climb the stairs without falling down 3 times, or his press secretary in the plane says it was very windy outside. Is it worse that he fell, or is it worse that the wind blew him over? I don't know what's worse. There's your President Joe Biden. And then he said in a debate, the only African-American woman elected to the United States Senate endorsed him. Kamala was running with him. And there had already been previously an African-American woman senator, but he gets that wrong. You know, he says a lot of dumb things. You can't work at a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. Could you imagine if any one Republican ever said that? What the reaction would be? It would be insane. I could do this all day, but I don't want to waste my time. I want to talk to you about something that's a little bit important and also a little bit of fun. We all love our country, right? Everybody here, we love our... We live in the greatest, single best country, I believe, God has ever given man, right? Right? We believe as conservatives in something that is called natural law. What's natural law? Natural law is a pretty simple concept. We have our Declaration. Joe doesn't know it. You do. Much smarter crowd here than any other Democratic event. They're all full of Adam Schiff. If you say shit fast enough, people say think I'm saying shit, but I'm not. That's the whole point of it. People call up the radio station. He just cursed on the air. No, he said Adam Schiff. Can you tell the difference? But here's the beauty of what we stand for, what this movement stands for. And this is the movement that will save this country and get this country back on track. Because we all know what has happened in the last 18 months cannot continue. The country cannot survive with these failed policies. And it's simple. I can tell you in a minute what it means to be a conservative, right? Then I'll go into more detail. What do we believe as conservatives? We believe in liberty, right? And if you disagree, just scream it out. I'll bring you on stage and debate you. We believe in liberty, right? We believe in freedom. We believe in capitalism. We believe in our precious Constitution. That includes Amendment number 1 and Amendment number 2. That includes all the amendments. Hang on, my mic thingy here fell off. We'll get into that. Sarah Carter is in the house. Stand up, Sarah. Look at this. And Mercedes Schlapp is in the house. Give it up for Mercedes. So we believe in liberty, we believe in freedom, we believe in capitalism, we believe in our Constitution, we believe in lower taxes, we want less bureaucracy. We want government to get the hell out of the way and let us bring that natural talent that God gave us to fruition. This is not complicated. Conservatism is not complicated, especially if you believe in the concept of natural law, which is that, you know, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by the thing. You know, the thing. I'm watching that and I'm saying, holy Adam Schiff. That's the President of the United States. That thing, God, our Father, the creator of everything. Rights come from God, not from government. That's what we believe. So we want lower taxes, we want less bureaucracy. It's not complicated so far. Then we want a few other things. We believe in the rule of law. We believe in law and order so every town and every city in America is safe and secure, because you cannot pursue happiness if you don't have safety and security in your town and in your city where you live. And you see an explosion of crime all over the country, broad daylight, New York. How is this defund, dismantle, no bail law mentality, mindset of the left, how has that served the people in this country? It's been an unmitigated disaster. We believe in, not only that, we believe that our kids deserve, it is our responsibility to give them a good education. And I'm not talking about CRT, and I'm not talking about gender identity. There are other people that can teach them that. There are these other creatures, they're called mommy and daddy, parents. That's their responsibility to instill values in their own kids, right? That's what we believe. We pay more per capita for an education than any other industrialized country in the entire world, with the worst results imaginable. You know, back when Ronald Reagan was president, they had a landmark study. It was called The Nation at Risk. And what they concluded was, what has happened to the educational system in America, were it done by an outside entity or force or country, would be tantamount to an act of war. And it's gotten worse. We spend more per capita on education per student than any other country in the industrialized world, with the worst results. So let's go back. We believe in liberty, freedom, capitalism, our Constitution, lower taxes, less bureaucracy. We believe in law and order, safety, security. We believe in choice in education. And we also believe in legal immigration, not illegal immigration. Did you ever think we'd have a lawless president of the United States of America like we do now, that not only is aiding and abetting in the law breaking that is going on, and you all know it down here in Texas as well as anybody, right? Have you all experienced illegal immigration, what's happening down here? We're setting record after record after record, but it used to be catch and release. Now it's catch, process, give better preferential treatment to illegal immigrants, and that means no COVID tests. They didn't get no vaccine mandates if you come in here illegally. You get a Joe Biden phone, and then you get a free plane ride to some other state in the dark of night, and then that state is forced to take care of every need you have: housing, food, clothing, education, health care. We pay for all of that. So we believe in immigration. All four of my grandparents came to Ellis Island, and I'm a product of legal immigration. Most of you have similar stories to tell. We believe, and this probably is the biggest issue to me more than any other issue. You know, I prefer the guy that gave us $2 a gallon gasoline. I prefer the president that for the first time in 75 years made us energy independent. I prefer the guy. Now, some people got upset with Donald Trump because he used to send out very mean tweets to a very corrupt media that lied about him for 3 years. If I got lied about for 3 years, I would think they're corrupt as hell like he does, wouldn't you? So you think about it. I want America not only to be energy independent again, to be energy dominant. How is it possible we live in a time and a place and an era where we have more natural resources domestically with gas, natural gas, oil, and coal, and we got a president that is begging repeatedly OPEC to increase their output, and they keep saying no? How is it we have a president that wants to make Russia rich again? He imported 684 million barrels of oil from Russia last year. How is that possible? We've got more oil, more natural gas, more coal than all of these countries put together. How is it that he wants to do another Iranian deal, and all the Iranian mullahs do is threaten to blow Israel and the United States off the face of the earth? How is that possible? Why would, in God's name, would you ever send an emissary to Venezuela to negotiate with that murdering dictator thug and make Venezuela rich again? And if you think Saudi Arabia is a pariah nation, and you think MBS killed journalist Jamal Khashoggi, Why would you go over to Saudi Arabia and kiss the ass of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia? I wouldn't do it. And neither would Donald Trump. And neither, I think, would any Republican president. And this is where our ideas now begin to flow. If you think about every single problem that this country is currently facing, every single one of them is preventable. And the good news is, starting in November, if all of us put aside our petty differences, there's some people that supported this candidate and that candidate, and this, we unite as a party behind certain principles. And that's liberty, freedom, that's capitalism, that's our Constitution. We believe in law and order. We believe in choice in schools. We believe in secure borders. We believe in energy independence. We believe in something called peace through strength and build up the biggest, meanest, toughest, baddest military on the face of the earth. If we fight future conflicts, no longer should America be sending our national treasure into 20-year quagmires. If you're going to fight the son of a bitch, kick their ass, win the war, and get the hell out. Not that hard. Peace through strength, free and fair trade, and all the Democrats have, it's going to be the same. We can all predict what they're going to run on this election season. It's simple. They're going to try and run on abortion is illegal in America. Well, go tell that to the people of Kansas, because it's not illegal in America. And it's not going to be illegal in New York. Can you believe I'm so stupid I live in New York? I'm the dumbest guy in this room. Why am I up here? God bless Texas. Right? What's that? Everyone says God bless Texas. Oh, trust me, my next contract, line number 1, I get to leave. That's in there. But you think about if it's the border, we can fix the border. If it's inflation, this is the single best opportunity energy we have to not only be the masters of our own destiny. Think of it from this perspective. Rather than deal with countries that absolutely, positively hate our guts, like the ones that I mentioned, and beg them for more production, if we would be energy independent and then take it a step further, become energy dominant around the world. Now, we should have learned from Western Europe. We saw their dependence on Vladimir Putin and Russia and energy to the point where, and Donald Trump warned Merkel about this, why are you making Putin and Russia rich again? You are allowing him to control your destiny. If America is energy independent, it doesn't matter what happens in the Straits of Hormuz. If America is energy independent, it doesn't matter what goes on in the Middle East, except that we, I believe, have a responsibility to protect our ally and the only democracy in the region, which is Israel. If we're energy independent, we create high-paying career jobs for Americans in the energy sector. And those jobs, they will train you, these oil companies, to be a truck driver. You start out at $100 grand a year. They'll give you a place to live and all the overtime you can take. That's not a bad start in life for a young guy that maybe doesn't want to go to college. Pretty good start. If we're energy dominant, then we could take all of that natural gas. We have over 200 years worth of known supplies available. And then we ship it over to our Western European allies. We find a way to get it over there. And then America not only is energy dominant, but then why do you think Saudi Arabia is so rich? Why are all these Middle Eastern countries so rich? Why was Venezuela way back in the day so rich? Because they had energy. We've got more than all of them put together. So it's good for national security. It's good for job creation. We have this other little problem that's been going on. It's called inflation. And every month I keep hearing it's transitory. It's not transitory. Just like the recession is a real recession. 2 quarters of negative growth, that equals a recession. We are living in a recession. The recession was caused by Joe Biden and the climate alarmist cult that want you to think that the world is going to end in 12 years. Now, AOC said that 2 years ago. And my feeling is, if it really was going to end in 12 years, I'd say the hell with it all. Let's have one big party for the last 10 years. And then we'll all go home and see Jesus together, or at least half of us will. I can't speak for what y'all are doing in your private life. But again, all of these problems were preventable, all of them are fixable. You want to fix the problem at our border? How hard would it be to put back in place the Stay in Mexico policy? How hard would it be to finish building the wall? How hard would it be to do these simple things? And look, with immigration, I don't care where you come from. I just ask that you do it legally. And anybody that's going to come to America, one, should have a background check to make sure you don't have radical associations. Two, you need a health check. You might not know it, but we just came through. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. In the middle of a pandemic, I think you need to prove that you're healthy. And number three, you need to be able to prove that you're not going to be a financial burden on the American people because we can't afford it. And lastly, you secure the borders. We're losing, and Sarah has reported on this extensively, hundreds of thousands of our national treasure. It's called fentanyl. It's called heroin. It's called opioids. 95% of it comes in across the southern border. 95%. Now, if we want to get this country together, I only see one way to do it. We need to elect conservatives, and the most conservative party happens to be the Republican Party. We need every single one of you to deputize another 50 people in your life, because we know the stakes are high. We also could kind of use election integrity measures. Why do you think the Democrats, they don't want voter ID, but you need an ID to get into the Democratic National Convention? Anyone ever think about that? You know, if I want to buy, I got caught so many times on TV, so I don't hide it anymore. I'm like Dave Chappelle. If I want to buy a jewel pod, I have to show a picture ID. I'm old enough to buy one. It's very complimentary. I feel young. Can I see your ID, please? I'm like, okay, here. But you need a picture ID. You need a picture ID if you want to buy a beer. You need a picture ID if you want a bottle of wine. You need a picture ID if you drink vodka, scotch, whatever you happen to drink, whatever your drink of choice happens to be. They don't want voter ID. They don't want signature verification. They don't want updated voter rolls. They don't want chain of custody controls, meaning the minute that mail-in ballots come in, it ought to be on a camera. It ought to be put in a room. It ought to be monitored, surveilled 24/7 to make sure they don't tamper with those ballots. Some of the problems in 2020 that we saw, they never made the accommodations for COVID. We have laws in many of the states that lost a lot of people's confidence. The law is partisan observers get to watch the vote count from start to finish. That you need that's called election integrity. If you have election integrity, then people won't have anything but confidence in the outcome. These are things that all of us need to insist on, but that has to happen at the state level. And I've been telling everybody since January of 2021, get to your state legislature, make sure they put in place integrity measures so that we can have free and fair elections. Now, last thing I want to say. You want me to throw some more footballs? All right, who's got a good arm? You just dropped that in the end zone. You need to give that to a kid. Ugh. You can tell I'm not running for president. All right, here you go. All right, you caught it. You all cracked me up. Oh, how did you miss that? It was in the bread basket. I know there's one thing I want to talk to you about before I leave, though. Okay, I want to talk to you about one last thing. want everybody to be aware of what the Democrats are going to do, so you know ahead of time. We know that they don't want election integrity. We know that if they get more power, they want to pack the courts, eliminate the legislative filibuster, D.C., Puerto Rico statehood. They want power in perpetuity. So they can't run on the economy, can they? No, right? They can't run on gas prices, can they? They can't run on the worst pullout in the history of mankind in Afghanistan, can they? They can't run on creating peace deals in Europe, can they? Okay, so what are they going to run on? They're going to try and run on abortion, I mentioned earlier, the Dobbs case. Well, go talk to the people of Kansas, because they spoke pretty loudly the other night. If I had to guess, and some people in this room may not like this, this is not what I want, it's what I think is going to happen. Very different, right? I think what is probably going to happen, remember, of all the, by the way, Bill Clinton actually said this, I can't believe him, I'm going to quote Bill Clinton. And he said something interesting. He said abortion should be legal and rare. As a Democrat, he said that. You know, 55% of abortions now happen with a pill, and I'm guessing where this is going to vet out is probably going to be what Mississippi's law was, which is 15 weeks. And as science advances and we see the progress and the ability to take care of a fetus outside of the womb and it can live independently, that will probably change over time. But that's what I'm guessing. But they're going to run on abortion, taking away your guns. January 6th, you know, we had 574 riots in the summer of 2020, right? The Democrats, they either denied they were happening and said nothing, or they lied to us and said they were mostly peaceful. I'm watching cities burn down. That's not peaceful. We had dozens of dead Americans, thousands of injured cops pelted with bricks, rocks, bottles, Molotov cocktails, and billions in property damage. And where's the committee investigating those riots by the Democratic base? You see, we don't have equal justice under the law in this country. We have a politicized Justice Department that only goes in one direction. And then they're going to run on the usual, you know, Democratic playbook, which is Republicans are racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic. They want dirty air, water, and they want grandma and grandpa to be thrown over a cliff by a Trump lookalike. Right? Am I right or wrong? Here's my plea to all of you. For the sake of our country, for the sake of your children, for the sake of your grandchildren, I urge all of you, whether you agree with each other, don't disagree with each other on some things, if we agree 80% of the time, that person is not our enemy, as Reagan said. I urge all of you that if you will put together a coalition of everybody you know and make it your priority to get everybody you know out to vote and to run on these simple conservative principles, there's not a single thing I said here that is complicated, then we will right this ship, we'll get America back on track, and then we'll win in 2024, and then we'll be back in the ball game, and we will be that beautiful city on a hill that Reagan spoke about. Let's make that our goal. Let's make that our dream. Let's make that our prayer in Jesus' name. You can say Jesus at CPAC. God bless you, CPAC. Thank you.